Bitcoin. What is truth and what is myth? In this video, we're going to uncover the 6 biggest Bitcoin myths. People have lots of myths and misconceptions about Bitcoin. Some are based on nothing, while others deal with the volatility in its value or real-world use cases for it. This guide will separate fact from fiction and get at what's really going on surrounding this popular cryptocurrency. Let's jump right into it. Myth number 1. Bitcoin is a bubble. There's a myth that Bitcoin only has value because of its bubble-like nature. The term bubble refers to economic cycles characterized by unsustainable rises in assets' fundamental values and eventually pop when investors realize prices are much higher than they should be. This means Bitcoin may have some type of intrinsic value, which would make it different from a regular speculative bubble-like experience during 17th century Dutch mania, where thousands sold their landholdings just so they could purchase one single flower bulb at inflated rates before crashing down, when supply outstripped demand. The actual story is that Bitcoin has gone through multiple price cycles in its 12+ years on the market, but each time it recovered. No technology is immune from fluctuations. For example, look at how Amazon stock lost 97% value before recovering several decades later as one of America's most valuable companies today. As Bitcoin is a new phenomenon, many investors are still trying to get used to its rapid oscillations. Some of them think that the swings will become smaller and less frequent as it ages. Similarly, like in young markets, before stability sets over time. Only time can tell if they're right or wrong about this theory, however. The second myth about Bitcoin is that it has no real-world uses. Critics argue that Bitcoin isn't useful in the real world, and if it does have use, it's mostly used for illicit activity. However, this statement is not true, because since 2010, when people started to get familiar with cryptocurrencies, payments were made using Bitcoins between individuals, without any middleman or payment processor involved, which makes them extremely fast as compared to traditional methods of money transfer, like banks or credit cards. The actual story. The story of Bitcoin's rise is much like the story behind gold. It allows people to save money that might be subject to inflation without having it tied up in an actual physical commodity. This has led many major funds and companies like Tesla alike to invest millions or billions into this digital currency because they see its potential for growth over time. Like gold, Bitcoin is scarce. Gold has a weight and bulkiness to it that makes storage difficult. Bitcoins can be sent digitally as easily as an email, without the physical constraints of its material counterpart. While the negative stigma around Bitcoin still persists, recent data shows that a small percentage of users are using it for illegal activity. Less than 1% of all transactions were used to conduct criminal enterprise, and 0.0048% compared with the US dollar. Because Bitcoin transactions happen on an open blockchain, it's easier for authorities to track illicit activity than in the traditional financial system. Myth number 3. Bitcoin doesn't have real value. Many people argue that Bitcoin lacks real value since it isn't backed by a physical asset. However, that is also true for the US dollar or virtually any other modern fiat currency. Although Bitcoin can be hard-coded to make them scarce and resist inflation, in fact, many currencies are created with no limit, which makes them highly susceptible to inflation. The actual story. The supply of Bitcoin is limited to 21 million, which makes it valuable. New Bitcoins are mined every 4 years in a process called halving. The predictable mining rate helps keep the price stable over time by limiting inflation and scarcity. Bitcoin derives value from the work computers do to validate and secure transactions. Powerful machines on a network around the world contribute processing power towards this task in exchange for new Bitcoin, the digital currency. If you're liking this video and want to see more, make sure to press the like button and subscribe to the channel so you can get more videos about DeFi and dApps and cryptocurrencies like Cardano, Ethereum and more. Myth number 4. Bitcoin has been the leading cryptocurrency for almost a decade. However, it is destined to be replaced by another digital currency soon. The actual story. Though thousands of cryptocurrencies have been created over the past decade, none has surpassed Bitcoin in both popularity and value. This is because it remains by far the most valuable cryptocurrency, according to market cap, with 60% share across all cryptos combined. It's also considered as a first-mover advantage since its decentralized mission makes it unique from other coins which are regulated by their creators or founders, who may not be trustworthy enough for some people interested in digital currencies like Bitcoins. Bitcoin isn't entirely alone though. New players such as Ethereum emerged but haven't quite caught up yet when compared to how successful Bitcoin has become so far. Bitcoin is able to constantly adapt and evolve as required. For example, the community initiated a fork back in 2017 with Bitcoin's segregated witness, or SegWit, upgrade, which allowed for new functionality, such as increasing block size capacity, by removing signature data from each transaction. The cryptocurrency space is full of potential, so it is possible that Bitcoin will be replaced by another currency. However, most experts feel that this won't happen anytime soon, as the current situation with Bitcoin seems to have more benefits than drawbacks. Myth number 5. Bitcoin isn't secure. Bitcoin is an incredibly secure digital currency. Despite countless security experts and computer scientists scrutinizing its code, Bitcoin has never been hacked, making it the first trustless peer-to-peer currencies. Because of this, all transactions are irreversible. Once you send your money to someone else's wallet address, there isn't a way for them to reverse that payment or steal those funds from you in any way. The actual story. There's much debate about the security of Bitcoin because some people are concerned with attacks on third-party businesses and services that use Bitcoin. High-profile hacks, like Mt. Gox, have made many users question whether their Bitcoins are secure in an insecure environment. But a lot of these issues stem from user error rather than flaws in the technology itself or problems within companies using it to store coins for customers, which resulted into breaches like Ledger Wallet's incident, where thousands were lost due to poor storage practices by Ledger themselves, instead of external malicious forces attacking them illegally, gaining access through hacking methods, and more. Bitcoin's network has been running with 99.9% uptime since its creation in 2009. The computing power and the miners that contribute to Bitcoin's security are distributed throughout 100 countries, which means there aren't any single points of failure. Myth number 6. Bitcoin is bad for the environment. Like any currency, Bitcoin requires energy. Since it is still relatively new and has not been widely adopted as a form of payment yet, the amount of electricity used per transaction seems negligible compared to more traditional currencies like dollar bills or credit cards. It's important to recognize that all types of transactions require some level of power consumption in order for them to take place. Whether physical cash needs paper, which takes resources, cut down on trees at mills in order for production, these are just two examples among many ways we support trade today. The actual story. According to a recent analysis by ARK Investment Management, Bitcoin is more efficient than traditional banking and gold mining on a global scale. One of the main reasons for this is that 20 to 70% of Bitcoin's miners' energy consumption stems from renewable sources like wind, hydroelectricity, or solar power. On top of being cleanly mined, there are other features behind why people invest in Bitcoins. More secure transactions compared with credit cards, Bitcoins have been having an environmental impact, which has not yet proved significant according to studies such as Cambridge's research group at the University College London Centre for Alternative Finance. Some argue that the economic incentives of Bitcoin mining are driving sustainable energy innovation. Miners constantly seek to reduce their carbon footprint and increase profits by using renewable energies to power devices like computers which mine for Bitcoins. Renewable sources such as wind or solar have become much cheaper in recent years, making them a competitive option with conventional fossil fuels when it comes to powering these electronic machines used for digital currency transactions on blockchain technology platforms. Blockchain is a new paradigm for how people transact, but its benefits require time and effort to be successfully implemented. However, we can expect that governments will accept blockchain's value in the near future and begin using it to improve financial practices as well as public services. Subscribe and leave a comment saying, "I subscribed," and we will personally reply to your comment. We'll see you in the next video.